Today we're visiting with our expert on autism and helping us make meaningful connections. Tiffany Tompkin is the Executive Director of Empowering Kids Perham. Tiffany, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Lisa.
Sounds like today we're talking about affect. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, exactly. So I just want to start first looking at the first slide that I have and talking about reminding us how our world is kind of set up for neurotypical people without us realizing it. And when we engage with somebody that has autism, we're always remembering that we want to join in their world. We want to see what they are doing, see what their interests are, and then join them in whatever they're doing. So it's not just a matter of simply plopping down next to somebody and haphazardly doing what they're doing, but rather we want to do it in a meaningful way. And we want to do it in a way that makes sense and that's genuine. And that's kind of where our affect comes into play as that finesse in the interaction.
Oh, I like that. A little finesse. Okay, so can you expand on that? Because that was a great kind of reminder of what we have talked about in the past, just how we look at things a little bit differently. Doesn't mean we can't meet in the middle. So let's talk about how this is used to make these meaningful relationships.
Yes, exactly. So if you look at the second slide, this kind of shows what affect can be. And affect is a continuum. So our affect can be low, slow, quiet and calm, or our affect can be like loud, wild, crazy, big gestures, big movements, changes in our voice, lots of inflection. So affect is this range of kind of how we present ourselves emotionally, physically to the child. So when we're engaging with them in their world, not only are we watching what they're doing, we're also watching how they're doing it. So when they're lining up their cars or when they're playing with their favorite toys, are they low and slow and seeking to be calm? Because then we join them in that way. Or are they lining up their cars and making lots of noises, big gestures, big blow-ups? So we're watching what they do, and then we're engaging in that affect with them.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other tips if people want to kind of take this to the next level and who really want to try this approach?
Yes, so if you look at the third slide, you'll see just some tips and tricks that we can do when we're trying to engage in affect with a child or with somebody that has autism. So the first thing that we want to do is just acknowledge our own natural style. So I'm not sure if it's apparent through a screen, but I'm a very high affect person. I love gestures, I love dancing, I love moving, I love being loud. But to some individuals, that's very scary, neurotypical or not, that can be a lot to kind of take in. And so we just need to acknowledge our own affect and be okay with it. Some people are loud and crazy naturally, and some people are much more calm and reserved, and all of those things are okay. So another tip that we want to do is to just try different affects and see, what does my child or loved one respond to? If I am calm and slow and they're feeling comfortable, maybe I'm going to try to increase my affect a little bit and see what they do. Are they still with me in that engagement, or have they disengaged and now they're back in their cars? So we're kind of watching. And then we want to use different affects. We want to kind of have this fluidity, because although we want to engage with the play item initially to create a safe space for that child and join their world, we want them to eventually think of us as the toy, as the thing that's really interesting. We want to show them that being with people doesn't need to be scary and overwhelming. Being with people can be fun and interesting, and we draw them into our world using this affect. So we want to match their affect, and then the last tip is to just be genuine. When we're interacting with somebody, whether that's a small child that has autism or whether that's an adult that doesn't, they can tell if we're being genuine. And not only do we want to just have to put on this face or put on this show, we want to do it in a way that shows that we want to be there and we enjoy this interaction and we're enjoying being with them.
Great advice. You know, you think about it and it all makes sense. Tiffany Topkin with the Empowering Kids Program. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Coming up next, a check of your daily motivation, plus what the newsroom's working on.